Hello everybody, PikaPlusHD here. Welcome to a video I've completely forgotten the title of. It's how I feel about my channel and uploading to YouTube, I think. And I just thought, since Hoodlumscrafty and a lot of other YouTubers have done it, that just me, as a slightly smaller YouTuber than effectively every single person that's done it, I should probably say my story for absolutely no reason. Also, I just thought it was cool because my good friend Callum did shout out about how I'd helped and how I'd been his friend, and I just thought I'd give my side in case anyone really cares. So, how long have I been on YouTube is the first question, I think. About 5 or 6 years. May sound very strange because I'm 15, but I joined YouTube when I was about 8 or 9, and back then I was an absolute squeaker. I mean, let me see if I can get a video from a few years ago. I promise it probably won't be as far back as 5 or 6, because I don't think any videos exist that are 5 or 6. It'll probably be maybe 3, 4 at max. Let's see. Let's go to that. And this video from 3 years ago, you might not be able to hear it properly, but
hello and welcome to this tournament. I think I'm gonna lose it.
So that was me about 3 years ago. You might have heard that, you might not. If you haven't, literally just go search the words Pokemon Gamer 1000, that's one word, and quite a few of the things on the first page which are likely to be commentated are, and yeah, so I've been on YouTube for 5 or 6 years. Originally I had to use a webcam, and it was really awkward because back then, although webcams were perfectly acceptable, mine was effectively just have a free wave of a camera all the time because I couldn't keep it still, because I literally didn't have a proper camera with a stand. So I just had to strap it onto my shirt, like, you know, the neckline on the shirts. I literally just had to strap one on there, and it always meant if I moved at all, the camera would just have an absolute spaz. But yeah, how did I get on YouTube? I got into Pokemon when I was about, I'd say 5 or 6. My first game, as some people may know, was Pokemon Colosseum. So I got into it really quickly, and of course, being a very young person back then, it was like, what should I do? Because I had so much I could do, and I joined a collection of Zap chats, and back then, I don't think there were many people, but like Giancarlo Paramango 11 was one of the people that was at most of the chats, and that wasn't 5 or 6 years ago though. That was more 4 or 5 maybe. But I kind of just searched like Pokemon online, you know, not online as in the Wi-Fi battles. Those didn't even exist back when I searched this. Back when I searched this was like 2007 or 8. And I watched like all of the people that originally did Let's Plays, and me being the really young kid I was, I sat there and thought, you know, I should get involved. I should have fun playing these games, because Pokemon where I live isn't too cool. It's kind of something you'd like as a joke, but that's been like that for years and years. And it just got to the point where I was like, internet, go. And someone's singing in the background. Hopefully that doesn't get picked up. But yeah, it just got to the point where I was like, I'm definitely just going to get online, see if I can have some fun, meet some friends. And of course, back then I was about 6 or 7. So it was effectively just me sitting. It wasn't even on my account. It was on one of my parents' accounts on YouTube when I originally had a look. And it was people like Mariland and just all these people that had played Pokemon just when YouTube was around. Like literally the start of YouTube nearly. All these people which don't even exist anymore. Like, if I say I used to be a huge fan of Roran Benji Mouse, you wouldn't know him. His channel, he hasn't uploaded for 5 years. However, I still remember the name, and I still, to this day, say that people who were... Oh, one moment. Okay, sorry about that. Someone was playing old music, which is likely to be copyrighted and would absolutely not go down very well. I know it's not their fault that they don't know I record, but yeah, it just got to the point where all these smaller YouTubers who people don't even know anymore because half of them don't exist, just inspired me to continue. And literally, I got on YouTube simply because after all that, I thought, you know, I've got what I need, because back then it was all amateur, so I had what I actually needed. And back then I was a Poke reporter. I'm not even kidding. Like literally, back in like 2009, I was a Poke reporter, and that was kind of how I started YouTube. And how I got on YouTube was just I searched the word Pokemon online about maybe even 7-8 years ago now. And that's how I also met a lot of people on Zat, because I just searched the word Pokemon online and I got Zat, I got a load of YouTube Let's Plays, I got quite a lot of things, but eventually that did just boil down to me joining YouTube. Did I ever imagine being where I'm at on YouTube? No and yes. Being, I imagined having a stage where I'd be where I am now, but I didn't expect it to take about 20 channels. Because people like Hoodlum's Crafty might go, oh, I had, like, I think he had one called, like, Banff TV, because that's where he lives. He had some really trolly ones before he actually joined Pokemon. Then he went into Shiny Shaman TV and, like, Colossal Swagger, where he said he didn't know why he got suspended. I know why he got suspended. It was because he put tags to really popular videos in his comments or his descriptions, and it caused them to effectively end up in nearly every search for the most popular videos, and it meant that he got quite a few views compared to what he probably would have. And I think Machinima found out about that, so when he was with Machinima, that was what happened. But yeah, you can tell I've known Callum for a long time when I have that around me brain. But yeah, that's got me completely off track. But I had a channel that had 300 subscribers, nearly 200,000 video views, and this was back in the time where they did all of the false flagging and false copyright strikes, and I got 2 or 3. And of course back then there were no networks to support you. There was absolutely nothing. I tried getting partnered and I just couldn't, because they didn't allow gamers to be partnered. And if I could get partnered back then, you'd probably have seen me a lot better off than you'd see me now. Like, not even saying that where I am now is a bad place, just saying you could see me maybe 4 or 5 times better off if I ended up getting partnered back then, because getting partnered back then effectively meant that your channel would go viral because there were no partners. But the issue was, it was only the biggest channels, and back then it was channels that weren't even that big, but it just got to the point where it was only the biggest of the gaming channels that could actually get partnerships, and half the time even they struggled. And like, we've seen a load of gamers join recently, and it's not as easy as it used to be. And that's what I'm saying, like, I didn't imagine it would be this hard to actually do anything, because when I originally started up, I got views really quickly. I used to get awards for most viewed in the UK, and that was when I was 9. So I then went to a channel called Gigalith TV, and that was when I was about maybe 11, and unfortunately, well, that was around the time when I met Callum, so yeah, that was kind of when I came back into the Pokemon scene. But that got hacked because the website domain that the email was linked to got hacked, and it meant that I couldn't log in via the email because the website was shut down. So I ended up losing that account just simply because I needed to log in via an email that didn't exist anymore. And that was really heartbreaking, because back then I had like 350 subscribers. I was a huge Pokemon Showdown player, and although I really was effectively brand new to Pokemon Showdown back then, I mean, the last time I'd played before that was Pokemon Online years and years ago, and Pokemon Diamond and Pearl Wi-Fi, where my record was literally, on Giancarlo Paramango's chat, was literally 0 wins, 12, it was like 21 losses. And there was someone called, I think, Darkly, who nearly lost to me at one point, and I can just remember, because I think someone was streaming, or someone was commentating it, and they literally went wild when they realised how close it actually was half the time. But yeah, I did rise to the occasion, and although a lot of the videos you probably see as Gigalith TV aren't very popular, I still regard it as a good channel, because just at that point you didn't have to be very good at Pokemon to still have some skill. Like, nowadays you see me doing battles, and if I go into Pokemon Showdown, I can very happily beat a few people, but if it gets to other people, I don't stand a chance. And it's simply because there is such a split between skill and not much skill, and I'm just kind of sitting in the middle, to the point where normally I can't even afford the game, so I can't educate myself quick enough. And back when I was good, which was Gen 4, really I was mainly good because simply that was when Pokemon Online was about, and it was a lot more about being in clans and sharing your teams, and if you had an original Pokemon, then you'd be battling for 2 or 3 hours a day, actually just making sure that your sets were all right for tournaments that you'd then play for 2 or 3 more hours. And just, that was how I normally played. But of course now I'm not as good, because it's Gen 4, it's Gen 6 now, not Gen 4. And although there are 2 or 3 videos probably around of me playing Gen 5 when it was originally out, most likely on Pokemon Online, and there are a few videos of me playing Gen 6 now, I really haven't played enough to know the stuff that I probably need to actually be good as. Like, back when I was on Gigalith TV, it was just Gen 4, so it was really easy. But then, of course, when that got hacked, I moved to Tom the Tyranitar, which is the account that Callum referred to me as in his video. So, yeah, and what happened there was basically, I made the channel. It was okay, but I knew it was missing something. I knew it just wasn't doing as well as it probably should have at the time, considering the circumstances, because I've been around on YouTube for so long, I know how well something should do, and I rarely make mistakes as to how well stuff normally will do in terms of my videos, because I know when my videos are unlikely to actually gain views and why, and I know how to try improving them. And my screen has just gone black, so I don't know if that was recording for a few seconds, but yeah, at that point in my time, I think I just probably joined, well, I was in a lot of collaborations, and I was in them, and I was still calling myself Gigalith TV, because I felt that that was still how to refer to me, because I just didn't feel that Tom the Tyranitar was really sinking in as a name, and it didn't catch. And if you know what I'm saying by, it just didn't feel like I could actually upload to the channel knowing that it was likely to actually get any kind of response. You know, like, even by response I mean 1 or 2 comments, but my channel back then just wouldn't have got any, because I know for a fact that, with full confidence, most of the videos I uploaded there were absolute rubbish. And it just got to the point where, after a huge argument, which meant that quite a lot of people split up, and I probably would be like right next to Hoodlum's Crafty doing a load of co-commentaries still now to this day, if it wasn't for this one argument that, I think the kid was the Cyber Chimchar, and effectively what he did was, I think someone said something and he tried convincing everyone that I was in the wrong for absolutely no reason, and just at the time I really couldn't defend myself. Like, everyone just seemed to be stabbing everyone else in the back, and it was really obvious I wasn't going to do very well, because at that point everyone was against me. So that was kind of when I quit originally for, I think, a year and a half. And I really didn't imagine actually coming back, but of course people wanted me to come back. Some people did actually want me to upload videos, and although they are just people that I've known for years and years, it just got to the point where I was in a call with them, I think it was the start of February this year, and I made an account called PikaPlusHD. I was hoping to start up 1st of January, but I had no motivation And this brings me into the next part of motivation and friendships. But I was going to start January 1st. I'm pretty sure I even had my Twitter account named PikaPlusHD back then. But I just couldn't start because I didn't know what to do. I'd been out of gaming for like a year and a half. And I didn't know many people. So as I said, I got into a call with some of the friends that have stuck by me, and that is like Hoodlums Crafty, Master Galliments, who's now TB24LPs, and Pokeplex as well, who I don't know if that's still his YouTube name. I might have to quickly go check on Skype. Hopefully it is, or else I'll have made myself look like an absolute twit. Let's presume it probably is. No, it's not. It's X Blakey something. But I was in a call with them, and it got to the point where I felt the passion just fill up in my brain. I'm not even kidding. I literally just had that moment where I thought about stuff and I went, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go for this. I'm going to just, within a week's time, make like a decision as to what to do, how to do it, what account to use, you know. And that's how Pokemon Leaf Green was thought of, because I just thought it would be nice to see a game done in Nuzlocke. And back then the only two options were Emerald and Leaf Green, because my computer's so bad, or it used to be really bad to the point where I couldn't play DS games on it. But I think still I'm probably likely to just go for Emerald Nuzlocke as my next, if I do have another Nuzlocke run in the near future. It would be nice if I could do an egg lock, but I doubt I'd get enough eggs at this point to play. But yeah, that's just generally what happened. And throughout the time of the many, just in general, moments of pondering over what I should do, why I should do it, and like why to do stuff about that, then PikaPlusHD was born. YouTube motivation, YouTube friendships. Hoodlums Crafty, I've been his friend for probably 4 or 5 years now. And back before that huge argument that split a lot of people, it was to the point where we could effectively just send Christmas cards to each other. And I'm not even kidding, we did one year. And I think I sent him a Zapdos Pokemon card because of one of his friends who used to be Zen Zapdos. And literally we knew each other to the point where effectively every single time we spoke, we were secure, we were happy to do like co-com whenever we wanted. And of course, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have actually continued YouTube. I probably would have quit 4 or 5 years ago, never came back, because when like the Spectre Station, who's called Brandon, there was also the Unknown Venom, Master Galliments, TB24 LPs, just people like that. If they hadn't introduced me to Callum, and if we hadn't have actually met on, I think it was really early September 2011 maybe, don't quote me on that, but it just was quite nice to actually have friends at that point, because at that point, that was when my YouTube was on the downfall. Like, my original, like, Gigalith TV wasn't the most secure, but Pokemon Game 1000 had just gone out the window, so I didn't have much of a chance doing anything. And Gigalith TV just kind of opened my eyes into where I could actually go for videos and what I could do and where I could upload. And if it wasn't for people such as TB24LP's Hoodlum's Crafty, the Spectre Station, although he's probably changed his name about 100 times now, I just wouldn't have even had channels such as that to play with. I wouldn't have even been motivated to stay around back 4 or 5 years ago, or 3 or 4 years ago probably. I probably would have just closed the netbook lid, because back then I had a netbook, and would have been, goodbye, that's it, you know, I'm done, time to go outside, get a life, although now I still do have a life. But yeah, it's just friendships like that that have been with me for so long, that have felt my pain and just helped me through any hard times, that have just caused me to be the person who I am now. And back when I was really young, it was hard to get along on YouTube, because effectively everyone that I came across on like Zat and that had a load of issues with age and just general attitude towards having younger people there, and it got to the point where half the time I was either getting like massively offended for being from the UK in an all-American chat or something. I remember Giancarlo Paramango literally just made a stream of like 30 minutes, if not an hour, of just an image of me, and in the background it was him, Nick Maddows 7 I think, Aurora Virus probably, Brittany Coulson, people like that, just absolutely hating on me. And back then it was really hurtful, because back then they were the big YouTubers, they were the ones that I was trying to be like, and I was just getting told by them like, oh, you're fat, you're British, you can't do anything, your voice is really bad, you're a suck up and stuff like that. Like, you literally just have to follow everyone, and you're trying to just copy everyone, and you're trying to just do stuff you can't do, and your voice is a little bit like this, and stuff like that. But if it wasn't for my friends actually, when I did have some a few years on, actually kind of strengthening me, I probably would still be the feeble person that, after literally hours and days and weeks and months of hatred from people like Giancarlo Paramango 11 back then, I wouldn't even be here without people like Hoodlum's Crafty. And I know it's a huge contradiction now, because people like Hoodlum's Crafty are Jan's friends, but at this point I've just learnt that he won, you know. Even if he did massively hate me, and he did all these troll streams that meant that I got completely discriminated for no good reason, just other than I'm British and everyone seems to not be in the UK from Britain somehow, and I'm a little bit on the tubby side, despite the fact that honestly it's rather being tubby than having bad school reports, Mr. Giancarlo. Just saying, because I do remember many a time when he got excluded for trying to skip classes, and I remember once he was found trying to escape from a class and he ended up getting stuck in the public swimming pool, I'm not even kidding, he managed to do a dance move like that. But I just, back then, was more focused on school than, oh look, I'm a British kid with a squeaky voice that is likely to be a little bit on the tubby side. Because surely education and knowledge is better than, oh look, I'm a little bit on the tubby side, time for me to go kill myself now. But yeah, that kind of argument and the kind of hatred I did get back then has just continuously came back to haunt me. Like, not even kidding, I still remember to this day just people in a call effectively laughing at me, and literally there was like 1,000, 2,000 viewers back then who were on live streams of just like me getting absolutely hated, and all I could do was sit there as I just got continuously banned for no good reason and kicked for no good reason. And you know, back then I was desperate to actually stay in the community because it was so small back then, this Pokemon community. And it got to the point where I was just consistently making all these accounts just to try getting into the chat, because every time that I was there I'd end up either getting hated by people or I'd get insta-banned for absolutely no reason for a day or two, if not permanently, on an account, to the point where it just wasn't right, and I just went more towards Skype eventually, and that is kind of why I'm on YouTube today, because I chose that after all the hatred that people that are now either big or disappeared but used to be huge Let's Players and Pokemon reporters, you know, after all the hatred from them, I just chose that I just couldn't live with that. And you know, there was a load of videos where it was just me with my face, because they absolutely destroyed my self-esteem to the point where every single time I was on camera, it was literally just me grovelling and being like, I'm so sorry, and stuff like that. But I had nothing to be sorry of. I just wanted to be like everyone else managed. And it was because of the mass hatred that I didn't even deserve, that was caused by YouTubers who back then had the biggest influence of the gaming Pokemon community, that ended up just throwing me under the bus and meaning I was just absolutely destroyed. But what can you do other than probably tell Giancarlo Paramango 11 that he has a whole section in my video, and hope that he realises that I am the kid he did that to many a year ago, and I'm still here, and I'm very, very happy to give him a nice argument and discuss why I certainly do not trust him that much, and why I do personally agree when people say that, like, he's done bad things in the past, because I've experienced them. I've probably been the biggest example, other than like Aurora Virus, and that was back 4 or 5 years ago. Effectively, he attacked a 9-year-old kid who was me back then, and nearly destroyed my whole just kind of life at that point, because when you're that young, it's just all down to, are you going to be interested in actually continuing with everything you're doing, or are you just going to call it the end of the road for half the stuff you've done, and then just hope that a few years later, if you have made the wrong decision, if someone does come up to you and go, oh yeah, I'm having a great time, yeah, fabulous, you know, you can just go back onto that path straight away. And I kind of, when you really think about it, I took many years to really get back to my passionate, really argumentative and probably rather harsh self. And I will admit I'm rather harsh when I do stuff like marking and reviewing stuff, but I pick up on stuff that people don't. Like, say for example, if someone made a video and it was called like Epic Pro Elite Snipes 360 and they only did a 359, I would very happily call them out on that. You know, if I was magic and could count what 359 was and didn't just have a look at my time board, saw 3559 and turned it into 359 because it was an angle. But yeah, now that whole 25-minute rant about why Giancarlo Paramango 11 probably ruined 2, 3, 4 years of my life, how friends eventually saved me and how they then continued to make sure that I was on YouTube. Now to go back to what has YouTube done to my life? You've seen Giancarlo Paramango, please. Best part of YouTube. Actually being able to be creative and being able to voice your opinion without everyone in the world knowing exactly who you are, like exactly where you live. Because my normal day is sleep, wake up, school, sit on a computer for a few hours, sleep, wake up, school, computer for a few hours, sleep. You know, that's kind of my general pattern of life. And as you can see, there is school in the middle, and it does normally take up probably maybe even about half of the day that I'm actually awake some days. And in school you can't voice your opinion, because if you're wrong you're likely to get absolutely battered. Like literally you'll get fought. You'll literally end up having a moment where two people are just standing one on one and it'll be like literally just someone gets hit and there goes their teeth, you know. Although not really, it would more just be like, oh no, that's absolutely wrong. Either that or you end up getting a teacher going like, that's inappropriate or something. And it's like, mate, freedom of speech, why don't you just go away and learn what the full collection of human rights is and learn that we all have a valued opinion and everything. But yeah, YouTube doesn't have all these rules about, oh yeah, you can't do this and you can't talk about this. You can have your own opinion. It's not like the biased world of everything where every opinion is not valued apart from one opinion is best opinion. And in places like school, it is one opinion is best opinion. I don't even feel like there's any freedom in school really, because you're stuck on a timetable, you're stuck wearing the same uniform every day even if it tries choking you. You're stuck doing subjects for core even if you don't really want to do them. You know, you're stuck behaving in a way which means that everyone seems to be equal, when I'm not believing in everyone isn't equal. I'm just saying not everyone has the same opinion on everything. Not everyone has the same cultural background. So why are you saying that we're all equal, then forcing us to wear the exact same things, while at the same time trying to teach us that we've all got different beliefs and that everything's right. Like, that doesn't make sense. So, try teaching me how wearing a uniform to try providing identity that you're part of a school is any different to people having to wear religious clothing because they're part of a religion. And still at this time of our society, in schools and workplaces, religious clothing sometimes does get people in trouble. Like, if people say that it disturbs them, which is not even really an appropriate comment to say, but people can make up the biggest excuses and get away with it because they're in an authoritative position. And that's what I'm saying. Like, schools, they make everyone kind of seem the same. However, at the same time, they try teaching that everyone's different, everyone has their own opinion, although you all have to stick to the same rules, you all have to stick to the same uniform, you all have to stick to everything normal. When, what if someone's religious and they have a different belief, or they have to wear, like, a headscarf or something, or, like, what if they have to do some religious ritual or something that means they may have to be out of school for a few days? Well, that's not appropriate, is it, school? Although you're trying to teach us everyone has their own opinion and everyone has the right to their own opinion, although you're not allowing us to do freedom of speech half the time because you say that it's all inappropriate language and inappropriate behaviour and inappropriate ideas and inappropriate everything and inappropriate conduct and misappropriate conduct and everything conduct. And it's not really working out for me. I'm sorry to say that I do not believe we all end up as equal in the school with a different opinion, because we're forced to be the same. We're forced to act like we're all the same person. Like, they force us to behave in the same manner when someone might believe that they want to be like an absolute troublemaker, and someone might want to actually study, and you have to get stuck in the middle because the school decides that the people that study normally end up getting absolutely wrecked by a lot of additional stuff that they have to attend, and all these troublemakers end up getting detentions and that. And it's like, well, surely that's just their belief. And surely that's just their actions. And if everyone has a right to their opinion and a right to work out their speech and to propose their views, then why is causing trouble, if you're a troublemaker, for example, not appropriate? Because surely that's just giving your view, even if your view is just effectively like Twitch plays Pokemon's Anarchy or Democracy, where the school's probably stuck in anarchy really, but it's stuck really in dictatorship other than anything else, with the leaders and anything that the head teacher or the head mistress or any teacher really says is the only thing that really matters. Other than that rant about my life and something, oh, I've got rid of the images. Positives and negatives about joining YouTube. Negative, hate, wow, GCPM 11. Yeah, if you do get on the wrong side of big people, even if it's just because you're from a different country, or you speak weirdly because you're 9 years of age and you're probably very emotionally fragile as well at that stage of your life. Just don't get on the wrong side of people, or don't try talking to people like that. Just steer clear of items such as GCPM11's very obvious hatred gun that he definitely did kind of use. Just make sure people don't use their power to actually use you. Positives, you get to meet friends, you get to actually enjoy your time, you get to share your views. You know, as I said, it's not dictatorship, it's not one opinion is best opinion, it's not Roundwood Park School is best school, or like one student is correct student. You know, it's not anything to do with that. You can say whatever you want, you can say however you like it, you can, you know, as long as it's not massively inhumane, or as long as it's not really immorally incorrect, then you do have an opinion. Another positive, you just get to, of course, with meeting friends, you get to meet a lot of cool people that just enjoy talking to you. And you know, if you're not if you live in a small village such as me and Hoodlums Crafty used to, I mean, I don't anymore, I moved to a town about 9 months ago maybe. It was the middle of summer last year when I'd already had about 600 YouTube accounts and I was already addicted to it, but I just couldn't get any real passion drive. But yeah, if you live in like a small place and you're not privileged enough to be able to have friends who like what you do, or you're not privileged to actually end up having just possibilities of visiting people that you know, then YouTube's the place to go, because you can have friends via like Skype and that. And although like Hoodlums Crafty lives in the middle of Scotland, he lives in Banffshire, not going to say where because I've already said enough, but yeah, he lives in a small little village in the middle of probably somewhere in the middle of Scotland, let's say. And he's had so many friends in that time. He's, throughout the few years, encountered many difficulties, and he's had a lot of support, and as you can see now, he's a rather successful person in the community of Pokemon that still at the same time is growing today, even if it's just bit by bit, you know, 1 or 2 subscribers by day for every channel. But it's just important that you have friends, and YouTube does provide people with friends, and it's really easy to actually get friends. It's not as hard as you must like exactly the same everything and there's one person in the whole world that does for you, because it's YouTube. It's not the middle of a random village which only 1 or 2 people probably actually like what you do and they're not really fond of you. You know, this is YouTube where there's most likely going to be hundreds and hundreds of people you could probably connect with who are all the exact same in terms of like hobbies, likes, you know, dislikes, fears, and you know, you could meet so many people that might not live near you, but they live in your time zone, for example, or not even just in your time zone, just around the world. And you can just share your opinion. And if you are not having many friends in the real world, you can just go to Skype for a few minutes and talk, or you can even do co-commentaries and stuff just to be more productive. But yeah, where do I think my channel is going from here? Up. Just thought I'd do a sarcastic one here, because there is literally a question that asks the question, like, where do I think my channel's going from here? You know, some people might be unfortunate, like, they've already had their day, they've had their prime, but I know for a fact I'm definitely not done. I mean, one Let's Play is definitely not all I've got in me. I might be a really bad player of the games. Even if I am, then I know for a fact I will be able to do quite a few more games if I really do get the support in order to. And I say the support in order to because what is the point of doing something that you know no one likes? And that's why I'm doing a lot of Pokemon Showdown and filler videos like this, because simply all the way throughout, normally people would be like, well, I'm not watching, but this is your time to say what you want. You know, all these filler videos are effectively here because I'm saying I don't know what to record, you know. And it's happened before on this channel with Pokemon Showdown. I've uploaded it a couple times a week because I simply either don't have footage of the game I play, or I'm just waiting for some suggestions that haven't arrived yet. And that's kind of when you use that to your advantage. You just go, well, all I can really record is like Pokemon Showdown because I haven't got anything else, but at the same time you can still talk to your friends and you can still talk to everyone that's going to give you opinions and going to give you ideas, and it's just the magic that you don't know where you're actually going to go, because a twist of fate might just be the end of you, or it might soar you miles into the air. For all we know, like literally about a year or two ago, gaming was regarded as a really small thing on YouTube. However, like literally gaming back then was not even, like there were one or two channels maybe in the top 100, and they were like the network channels, you know, and one or two of their slightly more popular YouTuber gamers might have just snuck into the top 100 towards the bottom, maybe 20, 30, maybe 40 if they're lucky. But now it's all these accounts like PewDiePie, who's not been around for as long as me on YouTube, funnily enough, and Smosh Games, who has been around on YouTube for nearly as long as me, but not a gaming channel. They've only just made that and it's already popular as hell. Like even stuff like Hoodlum's Crafty. A few years ago, Callum would have had like maybe 10k, 15k subs at this point, and he'd still probably be partnered because he got partnered even back in the day when it wasn't popular and you could only get a few hundred subscribers before really you've hit your peak, and you're likely to only get that many and maybe gain really slowly, because now people are actually using the internet for games, and the chances are, you know, you could either do something amazing that causes you to gain a sudden boost, like what Hoodlum's Crafty did when he made the channel he did, in which, you know, some days you have a look at his channel and he literally gains like hundreds of subscribers because he does all these collab ideas, and you know, it's not guaranteed to work, these collab ideas, but he's took the risk and it works. And That's what I'm saying. Like it's not the easiest thing to predict, like where you're going to be, because half the time you might expect to be one place. Like, for example, if I'm in the middle of a little village called Bobbington, which is in the south of England, probably near about Dover. No, sorry, near Cornwall. Sorry, going into the wrong side of the south of England, but I expect to be in London within 4 hours. However, I take a detour and I end up all the way up in like Newcastle, you know. I end up taking some really rural road with no traffic jam and make it all the way up to the north of the UK. And YouTube's kind of like that. It's unpredictable because you think you're going to end up in one place and then you end up the other side. You know, it's like, say for example, if I thought I'd end up with 500 subscribers by the end of the year, perhaps. For all I know, that might be a good prediction, but I might collaborate with people. I might end up gaining, let's say for example, 750, or I might have a really bad half a year or 9 months, not gain many and get stuck at 250, you know. It can go either way, and that's how YouTube works. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please remember to like, comment, rate, subscribe. I'm sorry this is another long video, it's just me rambling with opinions, but hope you've enjoyed the analysis, and I'll see you in the next one.